Zach, you got the 15 minutes ready?
Yeah. Are you starting now?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right. We're back. Another week. I'm fulfilling a 3 straight do or die loss in the NFL. You got to eat 5 McDoubles in 15 minutes. So that'll be fun. All right. Zach, you want to start reading the standings off? We all suck in college football, by the way.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out where they went.
Ryan, weren't you
Okay.
positive, though?
I was positive, too.
Yeah,
you
one.
both were?
Yeah, week 12 Ncaa results. Ryan went 4-3. He won this week. I went 8-7. Michael went 5-6, and Nagy went 5-6. The overall standings, like Michael said, we all suck. Michael is 91-93 for negative 4.97. Ryan is 69-72 for 9.56. Nagy is 48-53 for negative 11.41, and then I am 70-83-1 for negative 21.818. DOD records: Ryan 6-6, Nagy 7-5. Me and Michael are both 8-4. Weeks 1, Nagy's 1-4, Michael's 1-3. Me and Ryan have both 1-2.
Who was your do or die last week, Ryan?
I took Boston College -1.5 or +1.5.
Dude, fuck Boston College. There's zero reason why they should have lost.
Ryan,
that
haven't
game.
you lost 4 straight DODs in college football?
How many?
4 straight.
Oh, whoops.
So he's on a 1-game losing streak, but really on a 4-game. Wow.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you lie about going vegan.
I didn't lie.
Okay, here's the thing. Maybe you didn't
Dude,
lie, but
also,
you did not send
Honestly,
proof.
No. That is the whole thing. What is this,
Yeah.
Boy Scouts? Also, this is going to suck because, like, my stomach's going to be fucked.
Oh, your stomach's going to hurt so
Thanksgiving.
bad. It's going to hurt so bad in the morning tomorrow.
And, like, when I drink a lot, my stomach, whatever. This is going to fucking suck. But, all right. Let's get into it. College football rankings happened.
Am now.
Honestly, my only question – I have a few questions, actually. NC State should not be ranked that high, but that's really nothing that, doesn't really fucking matter.
Yeah.
But in reality, though, what has Michigan done that has made their resume better than Notre Dame, one, and even Oklahoma State? Like, I guess the committee, is saying, like, this weekend will either show they're legit or not. Not even just legit, but, like, worthy of a top 5 ranking. But it's just, like, if you stack up Notre Dame's resume, they both beat Wisconsin. Notre Dame's loss is better. But, like, as weeks go on, Notre Dame's schedule is actually, like, kind of tough. Not tough, but –
one thing I didn't realize was if Baylor wins this week and Oklahoma loses, it's Oklahoma State versus Baylor in the Big 12 title.
Yes.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, they both have 2 losses. And
because Baylor would hold the tiebreaker over Oklahoma.
Is Oklahoma State the winner gets into the conference championship?
I think if Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State, it's Oklahoma State.
Oh.
I think.
If Oklahoma State beats Oklahoma, Oklahoma State versus Baylor.
And then Zach's scenario would be Baylor, Oklahoma State. And then if Baylor loses, it's Oklahoma State no matter what, no matter who wins. But honestly, if you're Oklahoma State, you want Baylor to win because if you beat Oklahoma and Baylor loses, like, it's not going to be that great of wins back to back because by the time you win both those games, Oklahoma will be ranked like 20th. If you win out and Baylor, so you want Baylor to win, they'll be top. And they'll move up one because they'll jump. If Baylor wins, they'll jump Ohio State or Michigan. So I don't know. I think the committee, I agree. They finally Ohio State jumped Bama. The thing about what sucked for Ohio State with that, it didn't really matter because I think everyone knew Oregon was going to lose. But, the committee, refused to – Oregon should never have jumped Bama And I think everyone agrees on that one. But Ohio State, I think you could have made the case for, but the committee was never going to put them ahead of Oregon. What do you guys think, Cincinnati? So this is a scenario I want to ask, and then I got to start eating. David Pollock's made a good point. So let's say
you're at 5 minutes, by the way.
Let's say Let's say Bama beats Georgia. Ohio State wins out. Cincinnati wins out. And Oklahoma State wins out. Do you put a one-loss Oklahoma State team in, or do you put an undefeated Cincinnati team in?
I would say Cincinnati. I think what helps them now is Houston getting ranked.
That's tough.
I think you have to put them then what's the point of a non-Power 5 team to play football?
I mean, you're not wrong, Zach.
What's the point of having they shouldn't even be a part to be able to go to the college football playoff if they get snubbed like that. I get Oklahoma State has a good resume, but they still have a loss. At the end of the day, they have a loss. Cincinnati went into South Bend and they beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame could end up finishing number 5 or 6. They still beat them. At the end of the day, if you put Oklahoma State one loss over Cincinnati undefeated, there's no point for a non-Power 5 team to even try to compete for the playoffs.
Oklahoma State's loss isn't even like that. Kansas State's going to be 8-4. It's not like they're 10-2, 11-1.
Yeah, that's my thing is if it were somewhere else, maybe, I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's you're basically telling non-Power 5 teams go fuck yourself.
Next scenario. Or wait, Ryan, you can give your scenario. Who'd you go with?
I would think you have to go with Cincinnati still.
I would have to agree. I think, obviously Cincinnati moving the Big 12, it's not really going to matter soon because, they're – you win the Big 12 going undefeated, you're probably going to be in, even with the new Big 12. But, if you're Cincinnati, you might as well – if you get jumped in that scenario, you literally might as well, schedule – the school of the blind 3 times and just go undefeated. And, who gives a fuck? You're not making it anyway. So.
And also, what sucks for Cincinnati is IU just being complete asshole and screwing them
fuck
for a
IU.
win.
They fucked them. And IU sucks. And IU's such a joke of a fucking program. The fact that Tom Allen, that fucking scumbag, his best friend who was the AD gave him a fucking fat raise and then retired the next month. And then Tom Allen repays him by going 2-10. Because, hey, guys, guess what? You're losing to Purdue this weekend. You're going to go 2-10. You guys use COVID as an advantage, which is bullshit because no one should use a disease as an advantage. And you fuckers did. So fuck you, IU.
And they still lost their bowl game.
Cincinnati fans should fucking hate IU because if IU was 6-6 or 7-5, even then that would make them look much better.
Oh yeah.
All right. Second scenario. Let's say Oklahoma State loses one of the next few weeks. Ohio State beats Michigan. Ohio State beats Wisconsin. Notre Dame beats Stanford. Alabama and Georgia, Alabama beats Georgia.
Okay.
Cincinnati loses by a last-second field goal to Houston. Does Notre Dame or Cincinnati get in?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Why? Why?
Oh,
you get penalized. You get penalized for playing another game. You get. Oh wait, but also I don't give a fuck as it being here. Too bad they couldn't have played a football game to see, and they went on the fucking road and beat them by double digits. I don't give a fuck if Notre Dame's playing better. They're playing shit teams. SMU.
I don't disagree on that part. I'm just telling you what the committee's going to do.
That, I actually would be more mad about that.
The committee would love for Cincinnati to lose one game because they just be like, "Oh, sorry, you got the loss. You're a non-Power 5."
Because the part we haven't talked about yet, and it's a sad part, is who's going to bring more money, and it's not Cincinnati.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but when has the committee really thought about money and brought? Every time they put a team in that people are like, I don't know, they shouldn't have gotten in, that team wins it all. Ohio State the first year, everyone's like, did they deserve to get in? They're on their third string quarterback. They won it all. Alabama the 1 year, they won it all. I've never really questioned the committee or who's going to bring in more money because it's the playoffs. You're going to get a lot of money regardless. Does Notre Dame Cincinnati? I think you'd find around the same TV revenue would come in. But, I mean, I don't know, because actually, like, speaking of it, the fucking terrible home field advantage that Notre Dame has, Cincinnati showed up pretty well for a away game in that one. It was like 40%, 35% Cincinnati fans. So I think they travel. It's your one fucking chance. If that happened, though, that would just be – I would be so fucking angry. I'd actually be more angry at that than Oklahoma State jumping Cincinnati.
A wild scenario was it as if this top four remains exactly the same as if Bama upsets Georgia in the SEC title.
Because Georgia would have to drop down. Bama would
jump out
of
the top
three.
four.
I think no. I think
that's what I'm saying. It'd be the same top four.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think Bama would be 1.
Yeah.
And Georgia would be 3.
I'm just saying you keep the same. You keep the same 4. Just change the rankings around.
Yeah. And Cincinnati would stay at 4. Ohio State would stay at 2, and Bama and Clemson or Bama and Georgia would just split. One other thing, Ryan. You want to apologize to Dabo and the boys down in Death Valley, ranked 23rd?
Oh, you're at 11 minutes, by the way. I don't know what you got left.
Oh my god.
How many you got left?
They still stink.
2. They don't stink.
Whoa, you can't say they stink. They just embarrassed Wake Forest.
At
who
one
you've been
fucking point,
deep-throating all year.
Thank you. At one point, you said Wake Forest, that they went out, deserves to get in. They fucking suck, dude. They were playing the School of the Blind every other week.
They embarrassed them. Clemson embarrassed them.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, Sam hurt me.
That was the first time all year.
If any Power 5 team wins out, they should be in the playoff. That's not just Wake Forest.
Yeah,
I would have pounded the table for Pitt if they didn't lose to Bowling Green and then Miami. But
then, that great Miami team that they have down there.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The ACC is still complete ass this year, but Clemson did look good this past week.
They've righted the ship. They're not as bad as they were in September and October.
Well, their defense has always been good. It's their offense is finally starting to fucking score.
No, what I find funny, like Clemson has had their bad moments this year easily. Like they've looked like really bad in some games, but like everyone this year has been like, it's Georgia and everybody else. Didn't Clemson lose 10-3 off of a pick?
That is
6?
true.
Like, why are we acting like Georgia beat them 31-0?
That's hard though.
Playing football?
It's week 1.
There's a lot of teams who look really good in week 1.
Also, Clemson's team from that game is completely different because they've had so many guys decide to sit out.
Yeah, which makes it even –
that's harder.
Like,
they've had like 4 or 5 like offensive playmakers decide they don't want to play this year.
Yeah, and I kind of think –
and their O-line's still asshole.
It's bullshit. Kyle Hamilton's just sitting out. But
if I feel like, I mean, if I were him too, I'd sit out.
It's weird.
People who sit out in college, if you go through the past 10 years, the guys who sit out and do that stuff, it never benefits them in the NFL. Christian McCaffrey can't keep his pussy tight for one full season, and he's one of the guys who sat out. Most of these guys who sit out – now, in Christian McCaffrey's defense, he waited till the last game and he sat out with a 7-5 Stanford team in a shit bowl game. Notre Dame has a great chance to make the playoffs.
Well, I think he'll play if they make the playoffs.
Well, look how much money Jalen lost.
No. I don't think he'll play. Jalen Smith didn't lose that much money.
Lost a lot of money.
He had an insurance policy.
He had that insurance policy.
He actually made more money, I think, because he signed
Jake Butt from Michigan lost his NFL career.
Yeah, but Jalen Smith signed the biggest second-round deal ever. So, they said if he would have been the number 8 pick, he would have only lost, $4 million. And then you throw his insurance policy that was, worth, 15. I don't think he lost that many.
My biggest thing with, guys sitting out, it's hard to, tell these kids that, you're literally promised millions if you don't get injured. I don't know. I just feel like it's
done yet, though. If they make the playoffs, I think he's coming back.
I think that's a bitch ass move right there. You can play.
I would also agree. Now you're how you sit out 6 games. Now you're
I don't know.
I want to play again. Yeah, I get that too.
I don't know. I mean,
He's been cleared. Whether Kelly wants to say
yeah.
it, he wants to say it. He was cleared for the Navy game. Now,
also, you're like, Michael, how much do you have left?
I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get 4.
Okay,
My stomach is – I'm so full right now. But now, I don't actually disagree. Like, you have, like, what was it, a knee injury or whatever? Like, Navy's probably not the best team to come back to. I don't disagree with that one at all. But
yeah.
Virginia and fucking Stanford and Georgia Tech, he could have came back and played.
Virginia, I get why he didn't then because the quarterback didn't play, but he should have came back for senior day.
You can play. You can get a few reps.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't fault these kids that want to sit out because they don't want to risk the chance. Like, I get it.
I mean, it's where we live in now.
Cancel culture. Yeah. Cancel culture.
Like,
Jamar Chase sat out an entire year.
Yeah.
It was COVID. So did, like, everyone else.
A lot of guys did last.
That is way different. He didn't play, then come back and sit out. Like, hey, buddy, it's a deadly virus. Don't be COVID shaming. Don't be COVID shaming.
Yeah, Ryan, you're not – Ryan,
I'm a survivor.
Don't be COVID shaming.
I'm a survivor.
No, I think COVID – they were playing – first off, a lot of those guys didn't even know if they were going to have a season, and they're like, fuck that. I'm not going to play then. And then they came back with the season. They're like, well, I already left school because most of them don't even go. But so I think COVID year is way different. But I think that's bullshit. I think that sets a horrible, horrible atmosphere. And that's why Brian Kelly's leaving.
Where's he going?
Just wait on it.
Wait, where's he going, though? We need predictions.
There's rumors swirling.
Ball State.
No, that's where Saban's going. They're actually – I've heard this from multiple people now. I heard it from one person, and I was like, there's no fucking way. Then within the next 2 hours, I've heard it from 2 other people. The one person that I heard it from, the first one, has nothing to do with Notre Dame. So kind of weird that he heard it. She. And then – actually, I don't know if it's a male or female. I'm sorry. And – then the next 2, one of them's dad is a fairly big donor. And they heard the same rumor. And then the next one was someone who is involved with Notre Dame. So
was that why LSU's plane was here, you think?
I don't think he's not going to LSU. I don't even think it's going to happen, but, like, he's entertaining the fact of this school.
USC.
And, yeah.
I mean, that's how – just watch ESPN. ESPN says it every weekend.
This is legit.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I think he'd be stupid to go.
He would be a fucking moron to go. Why would you do that? But
now, if this is like 10 years ago, then sure. But not when you're 63.
It is – he's entertaining the fact, which I think is just crazy.
Probably saying this is what everyone does. That's what James Franklin did. And look what happened.
Yeah, but I think Notre Dame would just be like, okay, we'll go hire Luke Fickell.
That'd be sick. I'd like Luke.
Marcus.
I mean, I also don't want to lose Brian. I don't want to lose Brian Kelly, who Ryan once wanted fired.
I did. And he probably should have been, but I'm glad he
wasn't.
Hindsight.
No.
No, Zach, I agree.
It's not good to go 4-8 in like year 7 or whatever it was.
I would agree, but it's not warranting a guy to get fired when he's your best coach in the history of our lifetime.
This is my problem. It's just like what Nebraska did.
You're like 2.
I actually agree with what Nebraska did. Like, they know that they're not going to get a home run hire. Scott Frost has proven he can win. It's like, why don't you actually give him the time to get everything recycled through? And it's essentially what Notre Dame did with Kelly. Like, all these teams want it turned around in half a year. It's like Nick Sabans don't grow on trees. Urban Meyer, that scumbag, doesn't grow on trees. Like, these guys don't just grow on trees, and programs aren't turned around like that in majority of situations. So, like, yeah, like, double down on Scott Frost because you're going to suck if you fire him too.
Also, this is the first time in Notre Dame's history they've had 5 straight 10-win seasons.
Yeah.
That's, like, wild to think. Like, they didn't go to 10 games till, like, the 70s, but still kind of wild to think.
Can I get that ring? Hopefully.
I agree. I agree. You got to get that ring. But in 2016, if you fire Brian Kelly, who the fuck would you have hired?
No, I agree. I don't know.
Yeah, like there was no one on the market that would have been like warranted the job that's better than Brian Kelly, in my opinion.
Everyone who says Urban Meyer would never take that job because he knows he can't do what he wants to do.
And if they would have hired fucking PJ Fleck, then dear God.
I don't think PJ Fleck then, was he?
That was like right around his Michigan heydays. It might have been the year before he went to Minnesota, which would have meant he was having the 12-0 year at Western Michigan, though. Yeah, I don't know. I think everyone just overreacts because now the only LSU has been the one school where their last 2 head coaches aren't great head coaches, and they both have won national titles. So I think that's an easy sell to be like, we've had Les Miles and Ed O, who both fucking aren't good coaches, but they both won a national title / competed for multiple national titles. That should show you how fucking easy it is to recruit here, win here, do whatever you want here. But
did you see this is unrelated. Did you see the report a few weeks back that Joe Burrow was going to go to Tennessee if what's his name wouldn't have gotten blackballed? The guy that coaches at Rutgers now.
Oh, Shiano?
Yeah, that's wild to me.
That would have been way different.
Yeah.
Imagine college football landscape would be so different.
Oh,
Edo would have been fired 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And Joey B probably never wins a Heisman.
Joey B's probably not in the NFL.
Maybe not, yeah.
I mean,
that
because even his first year at LSU, if you look at his numbers, they were a completely different offense, but they changed to that new offense that spread, and I mean his numbers were tripled from the year before.
Yeah, he had one of the. You guys think CJ Stroud locked up the Heisman this past weekend?
I think Bryce Young still has a slim chance.
I'd say very slim though.
Yeah, he has a slim chance, but
although Bryce Young did have a really good game too, though. But I do. If CJ Stroud never sat out one game, he would be running away with it.
Yeah.
So this guy replied to our tweet when I asked about who should win the Heisman, and I gave the 4 best odds that Vegas has.
Yeah.
And this guy said that the Virginia quarterback should be the first or second favorite to win the Heisman, and especially if they beat who was it?
It was
Pitt.
Name or Pitt.
It was Pitt. He said if they beat Pitt and win the ACC, there's no question who should win it. You can pick a guy from the MAC or the WAC every year who throws for the most yards in college football. What are we gonna just hand these guys the fucking Heisman then?
I understand where he was coming from, but they've never done that before. They've never done it that way before. So why are they not going to do it now?
He doesn't even lead the country in passing, though.
I
know he doesn't because I looked at it once.
Maybe
he's second.
I don't know.
I think he's third.
He was second when I looked last week. Maybe he's third now.
He's third now.
But yards per game doesn't mean shit because you could play 4 games and yards per game. You got to play football, bud. You got to play football. But
you know what's wild? CJ Stroud could win a Heisman and then lose his job.
Yeah, I had someone text me that, and I was like, I hope that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever read.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Huh? That's not going to happen.
It is going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
When you're starting next year for Ohio State.
Yeah, more than likely. It's going to be an open.
We'll take him in Notre Dame.
It's going to be an open quarterback competition next year. Yeah. Which is insane, but it is.
Do they just not let him run?
CJ?
Yeah, because he's athletic.
He's a pussy.
Because, like, he doesn't have any rushing yards this year.
He's a pussy.
But
you're right. Whoever said he's third now is correct. Yeah, the guy from Western Kentucky has 6,000 or 600 more yards than Armstrong.
Armstrong, I feel like, doesn't have that many touchdowns either.
He doesn't.
Like, Stroud has 36 touchdowns.
Yeah, but I'm not even fucking worried about Stroud. I'm just saying in college football, because if you want to go off of, like, you know, the 1 year that, like, Hawaii always has a quarterback throw 55 touchdowns and 6,000 yards, it's like, that's what – this guy's name is Bailey Zapp.
God, dude. Bryce Young has 38 touchdowns with 3 picks. Holy shit.
That's where Bryce Young has looked really good at. Bernard Armstrong has 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. This kid from Western Kentucky has 4,640 yards, 48 touchdowns.
Holy shit.
This guy's a stud. Yeah. If you want to tell me that he deserves a Heisman, I'd fucking respect that more than your fucking Brennan Armstrong take. That's just a dumb fucking take. All right, let's get into our cards. I think I was the worst. I'll start. Right now, they had the New Year's 6 projections, and it has Notre Dame playing Baylor in the Fiesta Bowl, Oregon, Michigan, Rose Bowl, Ole Miss, Oklahoma State, Sugar Bowl, Pitt, Oklahoma, and the Peach Bowl. Ugh. So, wait, Ryan,
Baylor, that'd be fun.
Notre Dame Baylor, that'd be a great game, actually. Ryan, if Clemson wins out, do they win the ACC?
They need NC State and Pitt to lose this weekend.
Yeah.
They need both the teams to lose?
Yes. If they both lose and Clemson wins this weekend, Clemson gets into the ACC title.
But who would
they lost to both NC State and Pitt, so they don't have the tiebreaker to either of them.
If is Wake going to be the other side?
Yes.
No matter what?
I think.
Wait, no, I think it's – no, so it's if Wake and NC State both lose, the winner – I think Pitt's already in.
Yeah, Pitt's in. That's NC State.
Pitt's already in.
Wake.
Yeah, Pitt's already in. It's if Wake and NC State both lose because Clemson would hold the tiebreaker against Wake, and then NC State would have 4 losses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nuts if Dabo still somehow won the ACC this year?
And that would be kind of nuts. I wonder what the odds for Pitt to win the ACC were to start the year were.
They probably weren't, because people thought they were going to be good because of Pickett. And, like, the ACC kind of sucks. So, like, it was probably – they might have been the second best odds behind – well, maybe third. NC State was supposed to be pretty good, which they aren't bad. So
wasn't Miami supposed to be a lot better too?
I guess Miami too. Maybe they were 5th or 6th then. But all right, I'll start with my card. Tonight I have Ball State minus 5.5. They're up 14-3. Then I'm gonna go Fresno State, San Jose State over 51.5. Lane Kiffin and the boys plus 1.5. Lane Kiffin and the boys money line minus 102. Why is that? How is Texas still favored? Ryan, you texted this the other day. Like, you said you felt bad for Sark.
I feel like they just gave up on them.
Yeah, no, they do not give a shit.
After that Oklahoma collapse, they gave up.
That's another one though where it's like
you have stuff to play for still.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like that's another one though where it's like dude, you got to give these coaches some time because, like, he's got to get other players in there because their culture is horrendous. Like, you can tell those coaches went in there thinking it was going to be way different, and they were not. Okay, this is a weird line. That's going to be my lock. But I'm going to go Iowa money line minus 122 at Nebraska. And we're going to go South Florida UCF over 61.5. Cincinnati minus 14.5. North Carolina plus 6.5. They're gonna play spoilers. Also, underrated story that like the Washington coach just like beat the shit out of that player on the sidelines and got fired, and like no one really talked about it. That was cool.
It's the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, you didn't even hear about it. Yeah, like a player like got a personal foul and he just like punched the kid.
What I was told or what I read that was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Of him getting fired.
It was like their excuse to do it. But there was more.
Yeah. But they just suspended him at first, and then they went back to it, and they're like, well, yeah, actually, you're fired. Which, I don't blame him, but them. But all right, moving on. Ooh, BC plus 4.5. BC money line plus 164. Florida minus 2.5. They're definitely going to lose, but
go 5-7.
Isn't that the battle of the bowl eligible? Aren't they both 5-6?
Are they?
I think so.
Didn't they say Florida's already going to hire that Louisiana coach?
Billy Napier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was at Bama, and he said that he wouldn't go unless he got a big-time job. Like, he said he didn't want to leave Louisiana.
People were saying that he'd kill it at LSU because he already has roots in the high schools down there.
You think LSU would go that route, though?
I would.
It's been very good the last 4 years at Louisiana in a row.
I'm surprised he's still there.
Yeah.
They want him to Bennett's team last year.
Yeah, but he was at Bama, and then he got hired, obviously, at Louisiana at Lafayette. But they said that people around him said that he would not leave unless it's a big-time job, like a Florida, like an LSU. Like, he wouldn't go to, like, an NC State. He wouldn't go to, like, a Missouri. Like, I'm pretty sure he got offered the Missouri job, and he said no. Like, he's turned down multiple jobs.
Also, are you in your card still? Can we just talk about the fall of Dan Mullen? Like, what happened?
The shoe.
Yeah, Like, what happened? What happened?
I thought he was kind of losing it when he said,
recruiting.
His recruiting statement just threw me out for a loop.
Yeah, it's like, dude, every coach in the nation still recruits during the season.
Recruiting is his 12-month job.
Yeah, and also, like, you get most of your commitments on, like, official visits and stuff like that during the season. Like, that's like they go back into school and like, oh, I want to go to Notre Dame.
I don't want to take that seriously. I just think he said it wrong. I can't really imagine he doesn't recruit during the season.
You would hope, right? Like, you would hope. But I actually think two things. The shoe and then COVID, because COVID didn't allow his wife to make out with all the players, and they haven't done it since. And so did the players not –
also,
that
they
might
were
have given them some motivation.
points away from beating Alabama.
I know.
They did play him well. Yeah. Like,
Alabama's weird, dude. They're weird.
They had a chance to beat them.
Yeah, but they even played Alabama well in the SEC championship after the shoe throw.
Yeah.
And then they had all –
maybe they just had their number. I don't know.
And they had, like, their whole team sit out against Oklahoma. But, all right, then I'm going to go Michigan State plus 1.5, Michigan State money line plus 102. Clifford from Penn State's the worst fucking quarterback in college football. So that will happen Saturday. Wisconsin, Minnesota's minus 6.5. That's an ugly line. Louisville's favored?
I don't get that line.
But their quarterback's fuking nasty, though, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, his stats are like similar to
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, his stats are. They said he's going to come back next year. That's a team that will be good in a few years. I actually think they have a good coach, and like once he finally starts getting recruits there, Cunningham comes back, they'll be good. Let's go. Oklahoma State minus 4.5. I just love Gundy. I hope they win. I want them to get in. BYU minus 6.5, UCLA minus 6.5, and then what was my? Oh yeah, okay, all right, and then my DOD.
All right, my card is I got Ball State going right now, and I also took Northern Illinois. I don't know the score of that one.
They're down by 30.
No way.
I don't know.
I was going to say that'd be wild. First play, we got Ole Miss plus 1.5, Ohio minus 5.5. Eastern Michigan plus 9.5, Coastal Carolina minus 15.5, Cincy minus 14.5.
Coastal's been so bad against the spread this year.
I know. North Carolina plus 6.5, Toledo minus 29.5. Georgia, I bought it down to minus 35 against Georgia Tech. I don't think it's going to really matter. Georgia Tech under 54.5. Purdue minus 14.5 versus the Hoosiers. Alabama minus 19.5 versus Auburn. Vatech, Virginia over 62.5.
Wait, what's the Alabama-Auburn line?
Last I saw it was 19.5.
Yep.
They're favorite by that much? Wow.
What'd you take? Ryan, Alabama or Auburn? Zach?
Would I? He took Alabama. Ryan, would you still think that Auburn's beating Alabama in the last week of the season?
No, they took a massive nosedive.
They did. They're awful now. But go on,
that's
Zach.
still a lot of points.
That's what it is. A lot of points.
A lot of points. Minnesota plus 6.5. That's just it's a weird line. I don't get that line.
Wisconsin has their number.
Yeah. Oklahoma State minus 4.5, and then I have my DOD.
Michael, I think we have the same DOD, and I'll change it if we do. So
okay.
We all might have. I think we all have.
East Carolina plus 14.5 against Cincinnati. My money line might be a later play. Ohio State minus 7.5 against Michigan.
I'll be at that game, boys.
Auburn plus 19.5.
You want to do it?
Alabama.
Yep.
Nice. Virginia Tech over 62.5. Virginia doesn't play defense. They have a really good offense, so give me the points. Oklahoma State minus 4.5. BYU minus 6.5. UCLA minus 6.5. Wake trying to clinch a spot in the ACC championship game. Give me them in the points or minus the points, minus 4.5. Then NC or North Carolina State over 62.5. Then my DOD.
All right. Since we all three think we have the same one.
No, Zach already said it, so it can't be unless he.
What did Zach say?
Well, because that'll be my DOD. I don't want to say his.
Then.
Zach,
Ole Miss.
I didn't. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not mine.
Wait, what's yours, Ryan?
Ole Miss.
Yeah, no, that's not mine either.
Oh, okay.
I think me and Mike will have the same one.
What's the letter?
Oh.
No.
Oh.
What's yours?
I got Ohio State.
No, boys, jump on this right now. Iowa minus 1.5 at Nebraska is my lock of the week. Adrian Martinez isn't playing.
Nebraska's the best. Nebraska's Big Cat said this on Twitter. I laughed at it. He said they're like the best worst team in history.
Someone wrote an actual art. It wasn't Big Cat though, but someone had a legit article about that. Like wrote an article that like Scott Frost is coaching the worst, best team ever, and like, but Adrian Martinez isn't playing. They've lost a lot of close games. They have lost a lot of close games. It's just 1.5. Like if it was 5.5, 6, I would never take it in a million years. I think Iowa's just gonna win the game, but watch them win by 1, and they still like cover. Like 28-27, Nebraska goes for 2.
You said Iowa's plus 1.5,
minus 1.5.
One thing is Notre Dame line's gone up, but I don't like it as much anymore.
Yeah, I just feel like Notre Dame might win by 14. Like.
I also hate when they
an ugly game. It's not going to be fun to watch. Stanford's going to try to run the ball 100 times, and David Shaw thinks he's smarter than fucking everyone, still making $11 million when he's a fucking moron and losing every fucking game. Yep. Like, that's a wild thing that David Shaw makes $9 million a year. He's been – talk about – I was saying James Franklin, and look at his last 2 years. David Shaw's last, 4 years, they've been horrendous.
Yeah, they're awful.
He's doing it at the school – to do it at because they don't care.
No, but they missed such a good opportunity to care because they were really good consistently for a while.
They had Harbaugh, dude. They were good.
Even Shaw's first 3 to 4 years, They were 10-2, 11-1. Remember the year Jalen Smith's year when they played Ohio State? It was 10-1 versus 10-1.
And they won a Rose Bowl with McCaffrey, right?
I think they've won 2 Rose Bowls with David Shaw though.
So they have McCaffrey. Then before that they had Luck. So. Yeah, they had a couple. They had a good 8-year run.
They did, and that's what I'm saying. They could have capitalized on it but they did it. And you're right though. They clearly don't give a shit because he's been really bad, and you don't even hear anything about him being at all. Yeah,
he's been bad because you don't hear his name anymore linked to NFL jobs.
Yeah.
They used to be right. Every offseason.
He used to be talking about for the NFL jobs all the time.
Yes, that is true. He would always be he was kind of like the Chip Kelly when Chip Kelly was hot too, and then Chip Kelly made the move. Maybe he should have made the move.
He should have.
Although I think he's such a moron that he would have gotten so exposed.
Don't you think?
Yeah, pro coaches don't make unless you're Belichick or Sean Payton, you don't. But you also those guys have a lot of GM duties.
Oh, and they're more cutthroat in the NFL because you'll be like 13 games into your career and they'll just fire you.
For sure.
No, the worst ever fire in the past 10 years is the Detroit Lions firing Jim
Caldwell. Yep.
That is such a bad fire.
Well, the Bears also fired Lovie Smith. That was bad too.
That was what also made it worse was you went to Mark Trestman, John Fox, then Matt Fox.
Yeah, there's been quite a few though.
Jim Caldwell was bad though. Jim Caldwell actually got the Lions like to be good.
It should be like the Steelers, just have three coaches over a 50-year span.
Like Jim Caldwell's 4 years in Detroit, 11-5, 7-9, 9-7, 9-7. He got fired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is probably the worst one then, because at least Lovie Smith's like last 2 years, you could tell that they were projecting going down. Like
Lovie
he didn't make
was 10-6 though the year he got fired.
Was he?
Chris Conte.
Did he not make the?
Yeah, so the last game of the year, they're playing the Packers. They're in fucking man coverage, and Chris Conte decides to cover the out route.
But did they not make the playoffs?
Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs.
At 10-6, that just is like bad luck. That's not a fucking bad year.
He got fired after that year.
You know what's sickening of the year that Tom Brady tore his ACL against Miami, I think like week 1 or week 2. The Patriots went 11-5 and missed the playoffs.
Yeah. Because that's when everyone was saying
so sickening because you could have.
Everybody was like, "Is Tom Brady a system quarterback?" Because Matt Castle went 11-5.
You could have just tanked, and no one would have thought twice about it. You just
lost 11-5 and not make the playoffs,
right?
Now
there's been years where like there's going to be a team this year that has a losing record because you have that 7 seed now.
Nobody's good in the NFL this year, so yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the NFL is more unpredicting than the.
Do you know the Vikings have had a lead in every single game by 7 or more points?
I believe that. They
also, Ryan, didn't you go over last week in the NFL in picks?
Probably.
You went over again this week.
Jesus Christ!
Kind of talent.
I went 7-8. Now that I saw
that, honestly, I think going 0 for 6 is harder than going 6-0.
Oh yeah.
So that is a talent. That is a talent.
I think if you place a bet.
All right, we gotta end this.
I think if you place a bet on a gambling app and you don't win any of them,